It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, yes, Zanzi, welcome back. This is your feel-good breakfast show. It's going to feel a whole lot better because it's not just us, but the Goodhope FM too, joining us to chat about some of the biggest entertainment news stories on the radars right now. Now, there's a lot to discuss here, and I believe that y'all are going to be the ones bringing these stories to us. Is that correct?
That's you, producer.
I'm thinking about the bullet points in my head.
We'll help you out. How about we feed you the points?
Give me the names and then
Something
we'll...
that for me has been extremely disturbing is seeing all the news that Sean Combs, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him, has surfaced online. That CCTV footage in the hotel room with Cassie.
It's horrible. It's horrible. A few years ago, he was taken for a civil lawsuit by Cassie herself. Over the last year, there's been all of these accusations about, you know, improper things happening at his house, trafficking, all of these things. And now there's a video here and a video of him apologizing. And the apology, he doesn't even mention Cassie. He doesn't even mention anyone that's been involved in any of these things. It's also just kind of bizarre. He's got a circle around you. At no point did anybody say, hey, this behavior is not okay.
Yeah.
I think that also speaks to you know, a lot of things that happen in our country. We need to, as men and people in these spaces, say, dude, no, that's not okay.
I mean, I'm just happy that Cassie is finally speaking out as well, and so many women are finally standing up for the truth and telling their truth. And exactly to what you just said about South African women as well. There should also be an example for them and inspire them to speak out.
But it's not easy to speak out because how often when you hear a story like that, it's so natural for people to defend the abuser, to defend the male counterpart in this regard. So it is also creating that safe space and that judgment-free zone for women to feel safe enough to be able to voice their concerns.
It is, but you know what speaks out the most to me in the story is the fact that it could have gotten on for so long, and he's been around so many influential people, and it's taken this long, and it's taken a moment like this and brave warriors behind the scenes that aren't controlled by media in order to bring this information to the forefront. My first concern is that how much more of this is actually happening that we are not seeing? And then secondly, how could this have gone on for so long? Why only now? It's crazy.
I think it's a matter of the consumer of this this person. If you're famous, if you have this fortune behind you, if you are the one buying that person's product or in his entertainment or whatever it might be, you need to put your money where your mouth is.
That's true,
and support the cause that way and say, I won't be consuming what you do anymore. Take that power away from them because that's the thing that's enabling him.
Nice, I like that.
Did that to R. Kelly, you can do that to Sean Combs. Okay, well, let's lighten the mood somewhat.
Oh, wait, I need to interrupt you.
Okay.
I just need to be a producer quickly.
Okay.
These two need to hoy.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, we are still live right now. Good.
This is live
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Well, there you have it. Listen, we are live. Goodhope FM, they are broadcasting live from our studios. That is the beauty of TV and radio. So now that your two counterparts are gone, we're going to talk some space. You got more space. Get comfortable. I'm glad you're staying with us. So well, let's talk about Tyler. I mean, we are so proud of everything she has done. And I feel like it's almost wrong to say in such a short space of time because I know her hustle has been long and hard before she made a global name for herself. But what news do you have for us around Tyler?
Oh, she's been nominated for another BET award.
Wow.
Best R&B and pop. She's in the same category as Beyonce, so... Hopefully that's not the competition that she really needs to go up against. And she gets past that point. But she's also now, apparently, her music's now in Fortnite, the biggest game in the world. She's just knocking things off her list. Next.
Can you imagine,
last week.
like, imagine you as whatever specialist you are in your craft being put up against someone like a Beyonce. If whatever craft you were in and you met that person, that's inspiration to say the least.
Like, at the very least saying, okay, cool, we are almost
I'm being judged against this? Wow, that's an honor to say the least. It's crazy. And I like how you're saying this because we need to make mention of the fact that there's a lot of hype going on about the fact that this has happened so quickly. And you're right, Zoe, the amount of work that has happened behind the scenes, don't be fooled. This wasn't just given to her, it didn't just land on her lap. This is hard work and this is the power of South Africans. Yeah.
I mean, it's like an iceberg. You just see the tip.
You just see the tip
You
of
don't see
all
it.
her hard work.
Yeah.
Oh, well, listen, we've spoken about Tyler, her nomination, how exciting, and also new music from Billie Eilish.
Yes. It's came out last week with no warning,
Okay.
no lead singles, and it's already charting really high, like a week later. I think it came out on the 17th of March, and it just dropped. And it's going nuts. The positive reviews that are going. She was at the Oscars earlier this year with her performance with her brother Phineas. She's having another banger of a year after being quiet for about a year and a half. So she's back on track now.
Okay.
What do you think about the strategy, though? Because normally in this day and age, you need to be screaming out on every platform and medium that you can and hyping up and creating all this like intensity to get people to follow you. This is a complete polarity to that sort of strategy, but yet it's working.
I mean, the surprise drop was kind of invented by Beyonce, funny enough.
Okay.
With Lemonade.
Yes.
Oh,
She
of course,
no warning, nothing, just there it is.
Bang.
And the world ended that day. So I think a lot of artists have been chasing that same kind of Russian impact that Beyonce had with that album. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. You know, Drake had another album last year that he just dropped. It didn't necessarily flop, but it didn't have the impact that I suppose he wanted to have.
Interesting stuff.
Well, you
indeed.
mentioned Drake. He's actually your fourth talking point that we're feeding you. What is happening with Drake and Kendrick Lamar?
This beef is so hot,
I feel like I'm not up to date with everyone's beef. I've
It's
just
crazy.
been sipping tea.
Listen, this is the biggest beef since 50 Cent versus Ja Rule.
Bro, I think you're right with that, bro.
This is, and it's kind of opened up a new way for artists to have conflict with one another. But the scary thing is that sometimes people on the ground can take these things very seriously. Last week there was, I think, 3 different, not necessarily break-ins, but there were boundaries that were broken on Drake's property. And police had to be involved, and the natural inclination is to say, oh, it's connected. It's connected to the beef. But we don't know that yet. Canadian police are still investigating and doing all of their due diligence with that. But at the same time, the world over has now decided that Kendrick Lamar has won this beef.
Oh, gosh.
He put the theme music, and then Metro Boomin, his producer, said, okay, cool, we're closing the book now. Here's the outro.
Okay. Oh, wow.
With an instrumental.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
It's been fascinating to me to see how much engagement this has created, and obviously marketing has been played perfectly here. Whether it's positive, negative, whether there's a winner or a loser, both of them, I think, are benefiting from this.
100%.
And I think this was the plan all along. What do you reckon?
I don't know. I used to think that, oh no, they're just causing conflict for the talkability, which I suppose it is there. We see that with, social media celebrities that cause a conflict between you, and then 3 weeks later, you're together.
Besties, yeah.
But this thing between the two of them is long term. This started in 2010 already.
Sure.
And then Kendrick was the first one to fire off a shot in 2014 on his verse on Control, where he called out all the rappers. The majority of rappers at that time were, oh, he mentioned me, I'm so happy. He's saying I'm one of the best. Drake at the time was in his feelings and said, but why did he mention me? I am the best.
Oh.
And then since then, it's just been downhill, subliminal shots, and then it happened.
Well, thank you, Mr. Producer. We really appreciate it. Your team is still broadcasting their breakfast show live. There we have Stan Mars, Mishka, as well as Carl Lewis, all doing their business right now, because this is a day where radio meets TV, TV meets radio, and you cannot control what happens while we're live.